Hi guys, so today I'm here to answer another very important topic that I get asked by my sellers very often. And the question is, what can I as a seller expect from you as my agent during the sale process? So I'm here to explain you what I typically do during the sale process, what are all the services and all the activities that I take care of during the sale. So the whole sale process is divided into three main phases: the pre-sale, the sale, and the post-sale of the property. In the pre-sale phase, the very first step is obviously to get to know the property and the seller. In this case, you properly, so that I can prepare a detailed valuation of the property, which will provide a good understanding for you about the current market situation, about how your property will be positioned on the current market, and what is the recommended sale price with all the current conditions. As soon as we have an agreement on the sale price and we sign the contract, I will come to your property to prepare it for the photo shooting and for the sale, for the visits. This is done by staging the property and providing some recommendations in terms of what should be done in order to have the property ready for sale. As soon as we have the property ready, I'm coming to your property with our photographer, a professional photographer, to take photos and a video. So all the materials that we will need during the sale and during the campaign in order to showcase the property through the different channels. In parallel with all this work, I'm also making sure that I review all the important documents related to the property, all the documents that we will need at the end in order to sell the property. So on the very beginning, I'm making sure that all the documents are correct, that there are no documents either missing or that none of the documents need updating. In case we find out in this early stage that something needs to be corrected or updated, so I'm also making sure that I help you as a seller with this process of updating and correcting any documents that needs to be updated. So this is pretty much in a summary the pre-sale phase. As soon as the property hits the market, with all the campaign and the channels and all the advertisement, this is when we are starting to engage with the potential buyers. So me and my team will start bringing visits and potential buyers to the property, always making sure that the visits are with the buyers who are matching correctly the property and who might be really seriously interested. So during this process, it's all about making sure that the buyers, the potential buyers, are receiving all the information, that I'm answering all the questions for them, clarifying any details that they might want to understand, either during the visits or after the visits. At the same time, in case we have a buyer who needs financing for the purchase, I'm also there with the buyer to help them find the right bank for the type of financing that they are looking for, and also helping them throughout this whole process of getting the mortgage closed by obviously attending the appraisal and so on and so on. So I'm also making sure that the buyer gets all the necessary service and support from my end in order to have the buyer ready for the purchase of your property. So obviously, as soon as we have a serious buyer interested, this is the moment where my responsibility is to help you and to make sure that we have a successful negotiation that is with the outcome of having a good agreement between both parties. And as soon as we have agreement on the sale, the final price, and the selling dates, so this is the moment when I'm taking care of all the paperwork, the offer letter, and the following up contract that will make sure that obviously the property is reserved for a specific buyer, and that you as a seller, you are receiving the first down payments. So this is already, we're getting towards the end of the sale process. As soon as the property is reserved and the private purchase contract is signed, so this is when I'm starting to work with a notary in order to prepare the very final step, which is the signing of the public deed. So in this stage, I'm providing all the documents to the notary, helping them to also answer any questions, clarify any doubts that the notary might have in order to prepare the deed upfront and with all the details necessary. And here comes the date of the final signing, when obviously you as a seller and the buyer meets at the notary. So I'm also always there physically during the signing in order to make sure that the final signing goes smoothly, that there are no pending topics or no doubts. So I'm also there with you at the very end at the notary, making sure that you are receiving your final payment, and that obviously the buyer is receiving all the necessary also documents and the keys at the very end. Now, this is not the end of the sale process for me. There is also a part of the post-sale services or work that I always take care of. The very first steps after the sale is always making sure that I help the buyers to transfer all the contracts of the services on their name when it comes to water, electricity, alarms, so anything that is being contracted with the house, that it gets transferred on the name of the new homeowner. And then if there are any further follow-up questions or doubts, so I'm also always there for both sides in order to make sure that all the questions after the sale gets answered, which typically means that I'm in contact with both sides for many more months after the sale. So this is really in a nutshell the summary of all the services that I offer during the sale, mainly focusing on the services for the seller, but also explaining you what are the parts where I support, importantly, the buyer side. I hope this is useful, and please let me know if you have any questions and what are the topics you would like to hear about.